up, y'all? And this is your girl Leah B, and I welcome you to the latest episode of In the Mix, where I provide a history lesson on all your favorite genres of music. So let's get into it. So yeah, y'all, I know. I always talk about me not being consistent, but I'm being consistent. I'm proud of myself, man. I'm like seriously proud of myself. I'm just proud of myself. Period. But I'm glad y'all still rocking with me, still rocking with a sister, still enjoying what I do, still enjoying all the episodes that I bring, still enjoying the history lessons that I give about different artists and their careers and the history facts and all that good stuff. So thank you for all of that. So, but this new episode is going to be about, which is episode 12. If you haven't checked out episode 11 yet, it is on Tracy Spencer. She was real popular in the 90s, blah, blah, blah. If you ain't heard her about her, go check her out. Yeah, just check her out. Check out the episode. It's a pretty good episode, if I say so myself. But no. But anyway, this episode I will be talking about Eric Benet. Yes, Mr. Eric Benet, the one who used to was married to Holly Berry. But anyway, enough. Well, I'll talk about her in a minute. But anyway, so Eric Benet Jordan was born October 1966 in Mobile, Alabama. But he was actually raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So he was the youngest of 5 siblings. So I guess he was the fifth sibling. His musical influences was his father, basically. His father was a musician, and that's how he got his musical influence was from him. So by the time he was like a teenager, that's when his father really recognized his talent. Because growing up, he probably was like all about education and everything like that. If you get an education, you go far. Because during the time, his dad was in Alabama, like when he was born and stuff, growing up in Alabama, his dad was trying to be a doctor, but due to the racism, he was unable to do so. So he changed his career to become a musician, working as a musician. So by the time Eric was 15, his dad took his talent seriously. Like he knew that the brother could sing. So, but at the same time, his dad was really a stickler about education. So he encouraged him to go to college, right? Because he felt like music was not gonna pay the bills. He gonna be struggling, be a struggling artist, like on a street corner, singing his little songs on the corner for change. So he was like, "Yo, son, you need to go to college, and get this money, cause music ain't cutting." So he did actually follow his advice, right? But he didn't. He didn't. He dropped out like within a month. And plus, at that time, he had a child. He became a child for the first. I mean, not child. My bad. A father for the first time. Sorry about that. he had a child um, uh, during his time in college. So anyway, he got his first gig in the music industry. He was working with this group. They were like a top 100 style um, group back in the 80s, um, called Gerard. They were popular in the late 80s. And also during that time, his sister, and his cousin formed a group called Benet in the early 90s. The album came out in like 92, and it was a self-titled album, and it went to sell over 100,000 copies. But I don't think it didn't have any hits or anything of that sort. But it did fairly well. So 2 years later, he broke onto the music scene with his solo career, and that's when he signed on to Warner Brother Records. And during that time, he faced tragedy. His tragedy. His father, his biggest supporter, had passed away from cancer, and his girlfriend, who he had his child with, his daughter with, um, had passed away in a car accident in '93, and he was a single, left with her as being a single father. And so in '94 is when he signed to Warner Brother Records. And in '96 was when he debuted his first album, which was called True to Myself. The songs on there from the album were extremely successful. And the songs that he had that made the top 10 and that on that album were Spiritual Thing, Femininity, and Let's Stay Together. And Let's Stay Together was on the movie soundtrack, The Thin Line Between Love and Hate. And between the time of his his debut album and his second album, he was on this group's album. They were label mates, called Something for the People. I might do an episode on them. They had that song. Oh God, what was the name of that song? Oh my goodness. Oh shoot. Oh my goodness, what was the name of that song? Cause it was my jam too. Something for the People was my jam. Was my group though. I forgot the name of that song, but it was hitting. It was straight hitting. For real, for real. So, they did. He was on their album in '97 called "This Time Is a Personal Thing," singing. The song that they had was called "The Act Like You Want It." I guess they did a duet together or something like that on that particular song. And then that's when his next album, "The Day in the Life," was released. That's the album I got. Now that's a classic album. No, I like that album. That's a good album. And that was released in '99. And the first single from that was called "Georgie Porgy," and he had a duet with Faith Evans on that song. You probably heard it. Georgie Porgy, pudding pie, kiss the girls and make them cry. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I had to sing. You know I had to sing, y'all. You know I had to sing. Because I would play it, but I ain't about to get, my podcast taken down. So anyway, you heard the song. If you want to listen to it, go on YouTube. But anyway, um, that was the first single on there. And it received pretty good airplay. And the second single, Spend My Life With You, with my homegirl. He had a duet with my homegirl, Tamia. I'm going to do an episode on her. I'm excited about that. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but I am going to do it. That's my homegirl all day, all day. And they had that song, Spend My Life With You. I love that song, by the way. That's that's going to be like my wedding song one day when I walk down the aisle. Anyway, let me stop acting foolish. But anyway, that became his biggest hit off that song. And also, there's another song that I like on there called "Love of My Own." That bumps too. Go check that one out too as well. "Love of My Own," classic. But anyway, that became a big hit, and "Spend My Life With You" rose to actually to number 1 on the American R&B charts, and it was certified gold and nominated. It was actually nominated for a Grammy at the 2000 Grammys, and it was for the best R&B performance by a duo or group. Also, the album won a Soul Train Award for Best R&B Soul Album as well. And after that album came out, he was working on his third album called Better and Better, which came out in 2001. But he was trying to do a different style with that album, but the record label was not feeling it at all. He was trying to do a different sound, and Warner Brothers was not feeling it. And he had to, so they weren't really feeling it. That album I don't think it did very well. It didn't have many hits on it. Also during that time, he had a controversy. Due to that controversy of Warner Brothers not feeling his changing his style, he had to leave. He went to a different record label called Reprints, and which was called Friday Records as well. And that album, that was his fourth album, and that album had it was called Hurricane, and that album was released in 2005. He had the song on there called I Want to Be Loved, and it received pretty good airplay because I remember listening to it on the radio. The single I Want to Be Loved reached number 2 on the Urban Adult Contemporary chart. Also, during the early 2000s, he was an actor. He ventured into acting, and the first movie he was in no, actually, his first TV show he was in was called For Your Love. I remember that show. I remember that show. It went on to be. It was a pretty good show on WB. That show was with Holly Robinson Pete. You probably know her from Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Yeah, she was in that show, and I forgot who else was on that show as well. It was an okay show. It was alright. I wasn't really feeling it, but it was cool. And he made his film debut with, yeah, the worst record. I mean, the worst movie of 2001. Some of y'all may think. He was in Glitter. I'm not gonna even front. Glitter was actually a good movie. Not because Mariah Carey was in my favorite singer, made her debut in it. It was actually a pretty good movie, okay? Like, it was actually pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. It was a really good movie. Not because Mariah Carey was in it. But no, it was really a really good movie. It was a nice little love story movie. So he was in that. They did a duet together in that movie. Or whatever. So anyway, he was in that movie. And he was also on a MTV show called Kayla. I do not remember that show at all. You can tell that show didn't do well at all. He played a music producer on that show. And he also was on Half and Half. That was a good show too. I love that. I like that show too as well. He played a artist on that show as well. And he was in another movie in 2005 as well. It was called Trinity Goodheart. That premiered at the Black American Film Festival in 2011. I'm sorry, not 2005, 2011. It also premiered on GMC as well. I never really saw it. Sounds like it's pretty good. I might have to check it out. But anyway, he was also in the second season of BET's Real Husbands of Hollywood. I like that show. That show was hilarious to me. I really liked that show. Also during that time in the early 2000s, this is when he met Halle Berry. They were married for a minute. They got married in 2001, January 2001, and split by 2005. The reason why, I don't know. Shoot, it seemed like Holly can never keep a man. But anyway, I think they split for. I thought they were gonna go to mile. For real. Right? I really did. But hey, what can you do? So yeah, they split up back in 2005, and he went on to marry while he was married to her. He still was I forgot to mention his oldest daughter, the one his ex-girlfriend who passed away. She was born in 91. And after his split with Halle Berry, he went on to marry Prince's ex-wife. I can't pronounce her name. It's like Medela something Tuluni or something like that. And he's still married to her to this day. And they went on to have 2 children. One named Lucia Bella, and another girl named Omera Luna, born in 2015. So he's still making music right now to this day. They just did him and Tamia did redid their duet together during the pandemic. The little on Instagram Live, it was really bomb.com. So, but anyway, I just wanted to, this is going to be a short, sweet episode on Eric Benet. Thank you guys for listening, and I'm glad you guys enjoy what I do. If you want to keep up with me on social media, I am on Instagram. The podcast is on Instagram. It is in the mix with Leah B on Instagram and Facebook. Check me out. Make sure you like my page, and so you can keep up with all the episodes on within the mix. So, like I said, I thank you for listening. Thank you for rocking with me. I appreciate you and enjoy you. So, stay tuned for the next episode. All right, y'all. Peace and love.